First Theravada Bhikkhunis at the modern era in Sri Lanka, ordained in Sana, India in 1996. Before Venerable ordination, Venerable was a university professor, and the thesis for the postgraduate in Buddhism was on sati in Buddhist meditation. And Venerable master degree from the US, from the US. Venerable travels widely, sharing the Dhamma within Sri Lanka and overseas. Venerable also spent a lot of time planning the training of the newly ordained bhikkhunis in Sri Lanka. Brother and sister, let's put our palm together to welcome Venerable to begin his talk. And before we start, I would like to invite Sister Wai Ching to offer a drink to a small little announcement. We would appreciate if your handphone be put on silent mode or switch off, because we are going to do some recording here. Is to minimize the external voice.
We take the 5 precepts. Those who have already taken 8 precepts don't say anymore. Only for those need the 5 precepts. So please chant Namo Tassa 3 times. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Panatipata Veramani. Adinadana Veramani. Kamesu Michachara. Musavada Veramani. Surameraya Majja Pamadattana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Samanta Cakkavalesu Atra Gaccantu Devata Saddhammang Muni Rajasa Sunantu Sakka Mokkadang Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Vadanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Vadanta Dhammasavana Kalo Ayang Badanta. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Digarattanam bhota gotamena sahakatti sadhu me bhavan gotamo sankittena kusala kusalang desetunti sankittena pi vittarena pi deseyang tang sunai sadhukang manasikaroi desissamiti. Friends in the Dhamma, it is very fortunate for me and for you to be here this morning. We are already having a full-time retreat going on from maybe 6 in the morning till 10 in the night. And I think it is one of the happiest times of my life. So we are in the Dhamma, we speak the Dhamma, we live the Dhamma, and this practice is going to help you not only for this life, but your entire samsaric journey. So it is of very great importance, and I feel blessed, and I feel all of you are blessed. So thank you for being with us this morning. I thought I will speak to you on this subject. The subject given to me is taming of the mind. Taming the mind. So taming the mind means that the mind is wild. If it is wild, you need to tame. Yesterday we were talking about horse taming, because during that time, during the Buddha's time, they didn't have vehicles, no air transport, no cars, no nothing. So the king had his horse, and there were horse trainers. They were very skilled horse trainers. They had to train the horse how to run round in circles, how to speed for racing horses, and how to withstand the arrows that come in times of war. The king has to go into war on this horse. And how this horse knows the mind of the king. At the slightest gesture, the horse knows how to behave. He knows the mind of the king. So this horse can take anything. The loud noises he is not disturbed. The arrows he is not disturbed. And his performance is peak level. So that is how they tame the horses. So that is called, they were horse trainers. And only a few, not all of them can be trained. Some of them cannot be trained. Some of them who are the ready ones can be trained. So I am sure all of you are the ready ones who can be trained and who can tame your mind. Not all of them, a few. So we are the fortunate few who can learn how to tame the mind and reach up to the highest level, reach the highest potential of the mind. The scientists would say that we are not tapping the highest potential, not even a fraction of the potential of the mind is being utilized by us. They remain unutilized. So the training of the mind is to utilize the mind to the highest potential, without which it will remain low, mediocre. And also, if it is not trained, it can degenerate worse than animals, and they can destroy themselves and destroy the world. Because the mind is a powerful instrument. And it must be used in the proper way. If it is misused, it can destroy us and destroy the world. So how to use this instrument, you have to learn the art, how to use this very sensitive instrument, the mind. And that, I think, is taming of the mind. Learning the art, how to use the mind to the best of its capacity. And that has to be learned, that has to be practiced. That doesn't come naturally. The natural mind is enough for our day-to-day activities, for the worldly concern. But the higher potential, you have to practice. If you are satisfied with day-to-day activities, then of course your mind remains untapped. You don't tap the sources. So this story is about Mahavachagotta. Mahavachagotta was an ascetic, didn't belong to the Buddha's tradition. There were many, many other traditions. And he lived with a large number of his disciples in his own monastery. So the Buddha, you can see how he always goes and visits these people. And then, like what we have, the interreligious, interfaith dialogue. So he goes, he thinks, the Buddha thinks it's too early for me for Pindapata, to go around for alms. I will go and see Mahavachagotta. So, the Buddha was at that time residing in the bamboo grove in Kalandaka Nivapa, in Rajagaha. You can see the place even now, after 2,500 years. And then he set out to see Vachagotta. And then Vachagotta saw him coming in the distance and he was so happy. He said, "Please come. It's a long time I have seen you. Please come. I never had the occasion to speak to you. I am honored. Please come and here your seat. And he gave him the higher seat, and he sat on a lower seat, and with all his retinue, and he invited the Buddha. Please, Venerable, tell us, in short, precise, what is good, what is not good, what is to be practiced, what is not to be practiced, what is kusala, what is akusala, what is wholesome, what is unwholesome. He said, please say it to me, brief. I can understand. Then the Buddha said, no, not only brief, I will speak to you, not only brief, but also in detail. What is right, what is wrong? What thinking will tame your mind? What thinking will make your mind wild and wicked? So, it is all the mind that they are talking about. When the mind thinks in the right way, it becomes mild and nice and wholesome and kind, good and generous. It helps you, it makes you happy and makes others happy. When the mind is wild and untrained, nobody can stop you, and you destroy yourself and you destroy others. In a moment of anger, just imagine what your inclination is. Are you amenable? Are you willing to listen? Are you happy? Are you considerate of the others? Are you selfish? Or are you full of ego and pride and conceit? So in a moment of anger, anger doesn't come alone. It comes with this package. All the wrong, bad attributes come with it. So these things don't come alone. They come with the package. All of it inbuilt. So if you even understand one bit of it, you know the whole thing is there. And the Buddha gives a nice simile, I have said that before. Have you seen the crocodile floating in water? You see it floating and you can see only a bit of his back and a little snout and his tail. So if you don't know, you think it's just a piece of stick. But if you know it is a crocodile, then you know his hands and belly and legs and everything is all there hidden. You see only a little bit. So, but if you see the little bit, if you know the whole crocodile is there. Just like that, when you see one small aspect of your mind, maybe a little pride, maybe anger, maybe attachment, maybe ego, maybe selfishness, all of it, then you must know that you are seeing only 1/10 of the iceberg. 9/10 are underneath. The whole is there. So, when you have to tame the mind, nobody can do that for you. We can tell you what to do. We can help you how to recognize, but you have to recognize your mind. Nobody knows your mind. Not even the Buddha. Nobody can change your mind. You have to do it. You know the mind, you know how it is, and you have to change it. So the taming of the mind is entirely individual. We can only give you techniques how to recognize If you are expert, you will recognize at once, just like the horse. At the slightest gesture he knows, because he is trained. So if you are a good meditator, you know your Dhamma, at the slightest you know that the whole crocodile is there, and you know how to deal with that. If you don't know, you live with the crocodile. And he is no good companion. He is a dangerous criminal. He can destroy you. So these unwholesome mind states arise in our mind, and we become destroyed by that. Because we don't know to recognize them, we don't know how to get rid of them. We live with them and take them for granted, and we think it is normal and natural. It is not normal, it is not natural. So the Buddha said, recognize that and understand that your mind is unwholesome, and then you yourself will learn the art of getting rid of that. Actually, the very moment of recognition is important. You have to recognize. Just like you recognize the crocodile. If you don't recognize, you think it's a piece of stick, let it be. If you recognize, then you can deal with it. The moment of recognizing is very important. Recognizing your own mind. Because the mind arises, passes away at tremendous speed. I told you it's as fast as the speed of light, and that is 186,000 miles per second. That is the speed at which the mind arises and passes away, arises, passes away. Different thoughts. If it is one anger, about 1,000 angers have arisen and passed away. They are all sandwiched together and you see as one anger. So the mind is a very fast, very sensitive instrument. So, as soon as you understand, for example, my mind is with anger. Now this is very important. Listen carefully. The anger has come and gone so many times, and you have recognized it. Actually, what you do is you intercept that concatenation with a mind of recognition. The recognizing mind is not the angry mind. Angry mind is coming and going so fast, then you intercept that train of thought by a mind with wisdom. That is what happens when you recognize anger. You cannot recognize anger with anger. You have to recognize anger with wisdom and non-anger. So already, as soon as you recognize your mind, the anger has fallen away and wisdom has taken over. No two thoughts arise at the same time. So anger has to fall away for wisdom to arise. As soon as wisdom arises, mindfulness and wisdom arises, anger falls away momentarily. If your mindfulness and wisdom is strong, then it is wisdom that takes over. And anger has subsided. But if the wisdom is not strong enough, if the mindfulness is not strong enough, it will fall away and anger will take over. Again, anger will strike. Again, if you see your anger and recognize it, again you intercept that anger with wisdom and mindfulness. That's what we do in meditation. In meditation, we watch the in and out breath, in and out, breath in and out. Then a stray thought will come and take over. You are thinking of the home, you are thinking of your family, you are thinking of your car or something. Some stray thought has come and taken over. And then you recognize, what am I thinking? As soon as you recognize that, it is wisdom and mindfulness that has come. So if you recognize your stray thought 100 times, 100 times your wisdom and mindfulness has taken over. And as you go practicing, it becomes the habit of the mind. Our earlier habit was anger, 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 again and again anger. Now our habit is intercepting it with mindfulness and mindfulness and wisdom takes over. But after some time, that also falls away, because they are all impermanent. And then that anger will come back again and again. So the mind that is the nature of the mind. So what are we trying to do? We are going to change the nature of the mind by skill, mindfulness, wisdom, understanding, being clever. You have to be clever to see your mind. Before you can expect to tame it, you have to first recognize your mind, and then only you know how to tame it. If you don't recognize your mind, you succumb, you become subject to it, you become involved, you become victimized by your own mind. It is not people outside who victimize you. It is your mind that is victimizing you. Your anger will victimize you. Your foolishness your ignorance will victimize you. Your craving will victimize you. Your pride will victimize you. Your conceit will victimize you. So, this is the mechanism going on in the mind. So, it is so important to recognize the mind before you can deal with it. Just like you recognize the crocodile, you recognize your mind. You can call it the crocodile if you like. So now the Buddha says, these are the things to be avoided and these are the things to be practiced in daily living. Lobo, vacca, akusalam, alobo, kusalam. First thing is desire, greed is unwholesome. Non-greed is wholesome. Know it. When you know, that means you recognize the crocodile. As soon as the greed is there, you must know this is greed. And then only you can, as soon as you recognize it, it becomes non-greed. If you don't recognize, it goes as greed, 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 greed. When you recognize, you intercept it with non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. Mindfulness and wisdom. So if you don't recognize your greed, you can do nothing about it. You become victim. Doso akusalam, adoso kusalam. Anger is unwholesome. Non-anger is wholesome. So observe the anger and then it becomes non-anger. If you don't observe the anger, you live with it. Moho akusalam amoho kusalam. Ignorance is unwholesome. Wisdom is wholesome. We know that when we go before the law, you can't go and say, I was ignorant of the law. You will be punished twice. One for breaking the law and one for not knowing the law. There is no escape. So ignorance is no escape. So we have to be very thankful that we have the opportunity to give up our ignorance by listening to the Dhamma and living the Dhamma. All the people out there, they are ignorant of the law. So then they make two mistakes. One is not knowing it and one is for breaking the law. So they are in a bad way. We are lucky we at least know the law. Even if we break the law, you know you have done the wrong thing. So you admit it. Out there, they will break the law and think, so what? That is normal, that is natural. And they won't even try to see that they have done the wrong thing. They justify it. And they shout and you can't argue with them because they are so clever. So you can't do anything. They think that that is right. Might is right, pride is right, power hungry and conquering others and victimizing others and punishing others and making life difficult for others. They think that is the world that they have to do. But that is not the world. That is something that looks like, but it is not. It is a travesty. It is not the law. The law is different. So for ignorance, you can do anything and get away with it. Because they are ignorant of the law. And they think there is nothing wrong with it. Just because they think, it doesn't mean it is right. We can think anything. Our minds are free to think anything. I always give this example because it's easy for you to remember. You think there is a bus stop there. You say it is there, you say it is not there, you say it is there, you say it is not there. What difference does it make to the bus stop? Whether you believe it or not, whether you accept it or not, whether you like it or not, whether you want it or not, it doesn't make any difference to the bus stop. Similarly, the nature is there whether you like it or not. The law is there, the law of nature. You may know it, you may not know it. You may be ignorant, you may be intelligent. But if you know it, then you know how to live. If you don't know, you can make many mistakes. Because that is not knowing the law is no escape. So now, moha is that. Moha is ignorance. Ignorance is terrible, because if you are ignorant, you can do anything and get away with it. And you think it is right, it is your might, I can do, I am the one, I can do what I like, nobody to stop me. So this ignorant fool thinks his ego and his pride and conceit is such, he thinks it is right and he does it. So amoha is wisdom. Wisdom is just the opposite, knowing the law. Knowing what to do, knowing what not to do, that is wisdom. Very important to know what is ignorance, what is wisdom. Then the Buddha says, Panatipata, killing is unwholesome, non-killing is wholesome. Why? At the moment of killing, your mind is infused with anger and hatred. It is the mind that is killing. If there is anger, and if your hands are strong enough, or you have weapons, killing is easy. At that time, not killing is difficult. If you are angry and you have the strength and the wish and the will to kill, is it easy for you to kill, or is it easy for you not to kill? Which is easier? Huh? If you are strong, you are angry, and you have the need to kill, and you can do it. What is easy? Killing or not killing? Killing is easy. Not killing is very difficult, because you have all the facility to kill, your anger also. And at that moment, to raise a thought of not killing is difficult. Killing is easy, not killing is difficult. Adinadana, robbing and stealing. It is easy if there is a very valuable thing, or you have enough ways and means of robbing. All the facility is there for robbing. Nobody is watching. You have planned it so well. At that time, everything is available for you to rob and steal. And this is very valuable, and you want to rob it. At that moment, is it easy for you to rob it or not rob it? Robbing is easy, because everything is there, you just take it. At that moment to think, no, I'm not going to rob. Can you? You can't do that. At that time to say, I'm not going to rob is difficult. Everything is easy on a plate to rob. Kamesu michachara, that is misconduct. You have opportunity for sexual misconduct. The persons are there, the vehicle is there, the money is there, the inclination is there. At that time, and everything is there, is it easy for you to commit misconduct, or is it easy for you to say, no, I'm not going to do it? Which is more difficult? Yes, then you must know it is difficult not to do it. So, for you to do the difficult thing, your mind must give up that lust and greed for sexual misconduct. But your mind is already so greedy, and everything available for you to consume and to say, no, I'm not going to do it. That's difficult. So, the Buddha said, not indulging in sexual misconduct is difficult and wholesome. To do it is easy and low, but people think they are very proud, they can rob and steal, they can do sexual misconduct. And they think they are great that they have done that. But actually, what have they done? Some foolish, easy, simple, not difficult. But it is difficult even when you have the facility for misconduct. To take a determination, no, I am not going to do that, is difficult. So, musavada, to tell a lie is easy. If you can go before the law and tell a lie and you escape. Often people tell lies and they escape. They deceive the public. They tell lies and they escape. But when you have the opportunity to tell a lie and escape, at that moment, for you to tell the truth and face the consequences, which is more difficult. When you can easily tell the lie and get out of it, and for you to tell the truth and face the consequences and take the punishment is more difficult. So telling the truth is more difficult. Telling lies is very easy, downstream. This is upstream. So people who tell lies are doing easy things. People who tell the truth are doing difficult things. Who don't misconduct are doing difficult things. People who don't kill doing difficult things. So then, pisunavacha, that is slander. You speak one against the other, put off people. When people are nice and harmonious, you tell somebody's wrong thing, somebody said something, somebody said something. Put off people, slander. That is easy. But when the opportunity is there to put off people, not to do it, and to say the good of this person to the other, say the good of this person to the other, and bring them together or support them, is difficult. Easy to put off, find fault with this one, find fault with this one, fight and make them angry with each other. That is slander. So not making people angry, not speaking ill of one another is difficult. So the Buddha speaks of all this and many, many more. Parusa vacha, that is harsh speech. When you are angry and violent, can you speak nicely, mild speech, lovely speech, nice to hear in the ear, kind and generous, soft and mellow? No. When you are angry, you have rough, wild speech. You shout and you say things that are grating in the ears of people. So the Buddha says when you are angry, easy to scold, easy to speak bad language. When you are angry, difficult not to speak rough and words that grate in your ear. That is difficult. So when you are angry, mild speech is difficult. So people who speak vile, wicked words that hurt. They do the easy thing. People who don't speak wild, wicked words, who are gentle and good, calming and easy on the ear, they are doing the more difficult thing. So Sampapalapa is just joking and frivolous talk. People do it all the time. They just speak nonsense. They keep on talking, and they speak useless things for you or for others. And when you speak like that, you can tell lies, you can put off people, and because they speak frivolous speech. And that's what they do and they enjoy. They enjoy doing that. But to speak something good and noble is difficult. To indulge in just gossip or easy things, that is easy. Not to gossip, not to speak frivolous speech, need discipline, and it shows good breed. Like the Buddha, he never spoke. The Arahants, they know what they are speaking. They speak words of wisdom that can be long remembered in their heart. So and so said such and such a thing, and it is so good, it has changed my life. So that kind of word is what we must practice, and that's not easy, like ordinary gossip and babbling. So to learn how to speak good and noble words, words of wisdom, words that can be long remembered, words that can be cherished in your heart, and it can change a whole life or maybe your samsara. That kind of word is difficult. Easy to say frivolous things. And the Buddha says, abhijja is extreme greed. Greed for your... Greed comes with its retinue. Conceit, pride and greed, all these things are mental conditions. Conceit, pride and greed, they are all one package. And not having greed, non-greed, no pride, no conceit, no ego, no selfishness, no self-reference, those are difficult. They are wholesome. And wrong view is easy. Right view is difficult. Right view, you have to learn what is the right view. I want to ask a simple question. Do you see your own trouble or do you see other people's trouble? This is a view. Seeing is a view. Huh? When you view, do you normally see your own pain and suffering, or do you see other people's pain and suffering? Do you see your own good, or do you see other people's good? Good? Do you see the other people's good, or you see your good? Anyway, we will give you a chance. Huh? Very difficult to see other people's good. You can see their faults, easy. So to see other people's good takes a lot of wisdom. You have to be good to see the good in others. That's something for you to remember. For the husband to see the good in the wife, husband has to be a good man. For the wife to see the good in the husband, the wife has to be a good wife. So only good people can see the good of others. So If you are not good, you see always the same thing in others. Because you are always bad and you see they are the bad. That's all you know. You think because you are bad, all the others are also bad. It is normal, and the majority believe that all the people are bad. He's bad, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad. Because they know they are bad. So be careful. For you to be seeing good in others, you have to be good. So, now the Buddha is so good, he saw the good in Angulimala. Can you see the good in Angulimala? You know him, huh? The murderer? You know the story? Angulimala was murdering thousands and thousands. And the Buddha saw that he has a potential to become Arahant. If he didn't meet the Buddha, he would have been finished. He's so lucky he met Buddha. So we don't meet Buddha. If we do the wrong thing, we just go down into the hell. Huh? So we have to know what is right, what is wrong. Our view has to be perfect. How to view the world. If you are good, you think others are good. If you are bad, you think others are bad. So be careful how you see the world. Give the benefit of the doubt to the world. They are good. So you are happy, huh? All of you are good. And I feel so happy. What if I thought that all of you are criminals or somebody do bad? I will be hurt. It's much easier, if you know what it is, to see the good in others. And then you support the good, and they really become good. If you don't see the good, and you don't support the good does not grow. So important, even in children, to recognize the good of others. So that is a right view. And also see the suffering of others. Do you see your own suffering, or do you see the other suffering? You always think of your suffering, huh? Now think of the others who are suffering much, much more than you. Then only you will be compassionate. Then only you will be kind and generous. Then only you come to help others. So try to see the good in others and try to see the suffering in others, the first noble truth. Not only are you suffering, others are suffering just as well, maybe more. Your suffering is little compared to the suffering of others. So you don't become self-pity. Oh, don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this. Self-pity is anger. What happened to me? Why am I like this? Me. Self-pity is anger because they don't see the suffering of others. So if you have self-pity, go to the hospital and go to the places where people are suffering and see, and go and be generous to them. Don't have self-pity. You have so much. You have 2 eyes, you have ears to hear, you have a good brain, you have a body that can work, and there are others without anything. So be satisfied with what you have. Don't have self-pity. I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have the other. There are much worse people in the world. See the suffering of others. So then you become very happy with your life. I have a chance to help. There are so many suffering people. Why should I sit down and cry and say, I don't have this, I don't have that? There are much worse people, go and help them. So when people come crying to me, I tell them, why don't you go and see the suffering of other people and help them? You will then know that your suffering is nothing. Others' suffering is much worse. So to have the right view is to see the suffering of others, the first noble truth. So if you can see the impermanence, that is also right view. If you think he's like that all the days, no. There is nobody who is good, nobody who is bad. When their minds are good, they are good. When their minds are bad, they are bad. And their minds change all the time. They are not just one mind. So when you know the impermanence of the mind and body, also it's a right view. And when you see the Four Noble Truths, it's a right view. So in this way the Buddha said all these things to Mahavacchagotta, and he was so surprised. And he said, and the Buddha said, if anybody practices all these things, he will end up in sainthood in this very life. And he assured them, do this, and then you become enlightened and you become a saint in this very life. Then Vacchagotta asked the Buddha, Venerable Sir, do you think there is even one monk among your hundreds and thousands of monks who has become enlightened? He said, yes, not one, not 100, not 200, not 300, not 400, not 500. Many, infinite number of monks who have become enlightened following these things. Then he said, do you think in your women, the female nuns, there is even one female nun who has become enlightened? He said, yes, not one, not 100, not 200, not 300, not 500. Many, many female nuns who have become enlightened in this very life. Then he asked, is there any layperson wearing white clothes and living a celibate life? Is there any one lay man who has become enlightened? Yes, they who follow this, not one, not 100, not 200, not 300, not 5. Many, many lay people, they have become enlightened. Then he asked, is there any woman who is leading a noble life like this? He said, yes, not one woman, not 100, not 200, not 300, many, many lay women. Then he asked, is there any lay person living a householder's life and enjoying a family relationships? He said, yes, there are, not one, not two, not 100, not 500, 300, not 400, not 5. So now this assurance is given by the Buddha. So I thought it is a good thing for you to understand that if you live this life, there is every possibility for you to rise above the common trend. And then he said there are many, many who enjoy sensual pleasures who have gone into this kind of higher aspiration. And then this Vacchagotta was so happy. And then the Buddha said, but those who do not follow this, they will never rise up to this. Whether they are monks or nuns, whether they are lay people, laymen or laywomen, those who don't practice this, they never get it. Then the Vacchagotta was so happy. He said, oh, Venerable Gautama, your Dhamma is bent towards Nibbana. I want to become one of your disciples. But he's quite old, and because he's of a different faith, he cannot be admitted to the Sangha straight away. He said, it doesn't matter. I will stay not 3 months, I will stay 4 months, 5 months. Please admit me to your order. And then he became a monk. And he followed this. And within 2 weeks, he attained to the first stage of sainthood. And then he came to see the Buddha. And he said, I have attained this. Then the Buddha said, oh, you are capable of more. You keep on trying. You will get your final deliverance. And then he went away. And he was meditating and practicing. And one fine day, he had so much of supernormal powers, and he became a fully enlightened Arahant. And then he saw some people going and said, where are you all going? They said, we are going to see the Buddha, he's far away. Then he said, please worship him, the Buddha, by my worship. And tell him, I have finally achieved final sainthood. And those people who were going, they went and announced to the Buddha that so and so, this Mahavacchagotta has this message for you that he has fully enlightened. And the Buddha said, oh, I knew about it. I already understood. And the Devas came and told me already that he is fully enlightened. And so that comes to the end of the story. So now we have something very nice for us to tame our mind. If there are any questions, maybe we can give you about 5-10 minutes.
Okay, we will open our next session to Q&A. Anyone have any question? Please come forward. No question?
Either they have understood everything or they have not.
It's the best time to share or anything you want to connect to this topic. Taming of the mind. Very powerful talk.
Yeah.
Reduce our anger by increasing our wisdom. So, okay. Anyone, any sharing? Perhaps? With no question, any sharing? Those are none. Okay. So we will move on to our next project. Okay. Sure, no? Last call. Your question? Okay.
Did you listen to my talk?
I'm just going to, as I know, Reverend is building a, wait. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Reverend. As I know, for the past few talks which I have been attending, Reverend Bhikkhunis Kusuma is building a Bhikkhunis training center in Colombo, Sri Lanka. So maybe Reverend could tell us a little bit more about it. Okay.
I forgot to mention that I never remember because I am more interested in the Dhamma Actually, I am building a center in Colombo for nuns, because the nuns are not supported by the monks or by the government or even the lay people. They all support monks. So there are 1,000 monks who are fully ordained, and there are about 4,000 nuns who are not ordained, who need teaching center, training center. And I'm so lucky I got 1 acre land in Colombo with all the facilities for training already in progress. So I am trying to put up a hostel for nuns where they can stay and take in service, they can take residential training in meditation, in Dhamma, in computers, in language, English, so that they can raise themselves. And maybe they can come and help you here in Malaysia. Many nuns we have. And also the center is open for nuns and women. So any of you, if you wish to, we will accommodate you. So it is still in the process of ground clearance, and it will take maybe 6 months or 1 year, depending on the funds. I'm so happy she always comes at the right time and reminds me, otherwise I would not have remembered. So I'm so happy to tell you this project that I'm doing for nuns back home in Sri Lanka. Thank you very much.
Okay, if there's none,
I'll be outside there. My name is Alice. If you want any more further information, I'm just outside. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Sadhu, sadhu.
okay, if there's no further questions, right? Thank you, Honorable Bhikkhuni Kusuma, for your sharing today. And I would like to invite Honorable again to do the transferring of merits.
So now we have to share the merit that we made, all of us. All this 1 hour, we were full of non-greed, non-hate and wisdom. And we have made so many millions and trillions of wholesome thoughts, and every thought has a karmic potential. So we have made millions and trillions of good karma, which will give us happy results. So for now and in the future samsaric journey, it will help us. And this merit that we acquired, now we want to share with our Chief Reverend, in whose memory we are doing this series of lectures, for which I have come down from Colombo. And we are also doing the retreat, and we dedicate this merit to the Chief Reverend and also to the divine beings and our dear departed relations and all the living beings in the entire universe. May they share the merit that we made. So we chant. Akasatta Jabhumatta Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Lokasasana. Akasatta Jabhumatta Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Desana. Akasatta Jabhumatta Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakantu Mamparam. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatiyo. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatiyo. Idang vo nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatiyo. About my building of my center, I have already intimated the High Priest, Venerable Dhammaratana, and the President of the society that invited me. Thank you very much, and thank you, Shereen, for reminding me.